So we are now in the bones of the forelegs or the thoracic limb. So starting with your scapula, where this is the shoulder blade. And then we have the humerus. Then we have the radius. And then we have the ulna. And then we have the parts of the metacarpal, just over here. And then we have the metatarsals. And then the phalanges. Now we'll begin with the scapula or the shoulder blades. So take note, our dogs don't have clavicles, and this one along with this one forms the shoulder joint. So we'll start first. This is the lateral face of the scapula, and this is its medial face. So we have here the dorsal border, cranial border rather, cranial border, cranial angle, dorsal border, caudal angle, and we have the caudal border. So they have 3 borders, 2 angles. Next, we have here the supraspinous fossa. So this is the supraspinous fossa. And then we have the infraspinous fossa. Next, we have here this one. You will notice there's an elevation that and this one divides the 2 fossae, and this is what you call the spine. So this entire area here is the spine. This enlargement or protuberance on this side of the spine is what you call the acromion. Again, this is the acromion and this is the spine. On the medial face or aspect of the scapula, you have here a fossa, and we have this, we call this the subscapular fossa. Next, we have here, so another part over here, this one. This is the scapular notch. This one. So I'm going to point the ball pen. This is the scapular notch. And this one over here, this one, is the supraglenoid tubercle. This one is the supraglenoid tubercle. And this is the glenoid cavity. So there's the concavity. So this is where the head of the humerus will be articulating. On its back, we have the coracoid process. So this is the coracoid process. So this is supraglenoid tubercle, and at the back is the there's a enlargement also here at the back of the supraglenoid tubercle, and that's the coracoid process. On the other side, also over here, so opposite of the supraglenoid tubercle, you also have the infraglenoid tubercle. Those are the parts of the scapula. You might be wondering, which side do you think is this one? Because on a dog, it should be facing like this. So it's like this. So let's say we have a dog here. So this is how it looks like. So this is how it's oriented on a live dog. So let's say this is, okay, the dog is facing there. So since it's on my left, it's actually forming the left. So this is the left one. Left scapula. Now we go to the humerus. So this is the arm bone. So we have here the head, which articulates with the glenoid cavity of the scapula. And this is its greater tubercle. Wait. So this is the greater tubercle. This one. So this is the point of your shoulder. So this is the one, greater tubercle. This one is the bicipital groove. So if you will notice, there is a groove. That's the bicipital groove. On its opposite is the lesser tubercle. So the lesser tubercle, so this is the head. So the lesser tubercle is over here, right beside it. So this is over here. It's the lesser tubercle. Next, we have the line for teres major, or tuberosity for teres major. Teres major is one of the muscles on the arm. And then we also have a deltoid tuberosity over here. This is the deltoid tuberosity, the one I'm pointing. Deltoid tuberosity. And just above the deltoid tuberosity is the line for the teres minor. So the line for teres minor is over here. Or you can also say it's tuberosity for teres minor. Again, these are muscles. Deltoid tuberosity will also serve as a muscle attachment for the deltoideus muscle. Next is, so this is that line for tuberosity for teres minor, and right below it, just above the deltoid tuberosity, is the tricipital line. So tricipital line is also very important because it's also the origin of the tricipital muscle, which is one of the muscles also on the arm. And then up here, we have the brachial groove. Brachial groove over here. So this one here, it's the brachial groove. Then we have the nutrient foramen. There's also a nutrient foramen at the back. So have a nutrient foramen over here. They also have a nutrient foramen over here. I don't know if you can see. There's also a nutrient foramen there. The nutrient foramen, that is the one where the blood vessels and nerves will enter the bones. So they're very important. Next, we have the supratrochlear foramen. And this is the radial fossa. So the radial fossa is right on the cranial face. At the back is the olecranon fossa. And these are the condyles or the epicondyles. So since the greater tubercle is on this side, so this most likely is the lateral epicondyle, because again, it is the point of the shoulder, so it's more lateral. So this is your lateral epicondyle. And on the other hand, since the lesser tubercle is over here, so this one over here is the medial epicondyle. So we'll review the parts of the humerus. So we have here the greater tubercle, bicipital groove, head, lesser tubercle, deltoid tuberosity, line or tuberosity for teres minor, tricipital line just below, and then this one here is a tuberosity or line for teres major. Then we have the bicipital groove over here. Then we have nutrient foramen over here. I think you can see it. I hope you can see it. There's a hole also here. And then we have the supratrochlear foramen, olecranon fossa at the back, radial fossa in front, lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle. So take note of how they look like. So this would, okay. So you will be seeing the back caudal view. So where the lesser tubercle is, that's the medial epicondyle, and where the greater tubercle is, and this is the lateral epicondyle. Now we move on to our beloved radius. Now to know, it's actually baliktad, it's actually upside down. So to know where is the proximal part or the distal part of our radius, this one should be the proximal part, while this one, or the flared one, is the distal part. So we'll start from the proximal portion of our carpal radius rather. Okay, sorry, we have to cut. We'll start with the head. So the entire area over here is the head of the radius. And this one, the entire portion on the head that articulates with the trochlea of the humerus, wrong. I know the size, there's a size difference, but you get the picture. This is is attached, articulates with the trochlea of the humerus, is the articular surface. Now that's the entire portion. Now there's actually a depression. I hope you can see. There's actually a depression on this one. So this is the one that you call the articular fovea because it has a depression. Now we go with the head. So that's the entire head. And then we have here the neck. So the neck of our beloved radius. This one over here is the radial tuberosity. And since you have here the radial tuberosity, thus this side over here is the medial side, or we call this the medial border. Next, we have on the caudal portion, you can see there's a hole over here that I'm pointing out there. That's a nutrient foramen as well. This is a long bone. So this is also the site for a hematopoiesis. Now we go to the distal extremity of the radius, and the entire area here is what you call the trochlea. The trochlea has the styloid process, this one over here, which is on the lateral part, and then we have the ulnar notch. We have the ulnar notch over here. So that is where the ulna is going to be attached to. And this one over here is the carpal articular process. So the entire area here is the carpal articular process. I have to look over here, conial process. This one over here is the trochlear notch. So trochlear notch, unconus or unconial process. This one is the olecranon. And if you can recall our notes in the lecture, the olecranon serves as the point of the elbow. Then we have the coronoid processes. So these are the coronoid processes. This is the ulnar tuberosity. And in between the coronoid processes is the ulnar notch. So this is the ulnar notch, and the ulna, the head of the ulna is going to be cradled in that area over there. That's how it will look like. Now we go to over down. So this is the ulnar tuberosity. Ulnar tuberosity. And if we go down here, this is the interosseous border. So this is the interosseous border. Lastly, last two, we have the articular circumference. And then we have the styloid process. So this one is already broken. So the styloid process is most likely over here. And then you have the articular circumference. Now we go to our carpals, and since this one is very I cannot distinguish which one is the carpals, so we'll go straight to the metacarpals. All right, so these are your